and welcome to Market Insights. I am Lovina Emah. So today is a beautiful Wednesday morning and it's a great weather out there. And on today's program, as you know, today is June 12th, we are reflecting on a significant milestone. 25 years of democratic rule in Nigeria. I mean, that's absolutely great. But what has this meant for the business community? I mean, since 1999, Nigeria has witnessed tremendous growth, resilience, and innovation in the private sector, from the emergence of new industries to the expansion of traditional ones. The business landscape has transformed significantly. However, challenges persist. Infrastructure gaps, regulatory hurdles, and economic instability have all impacted the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Yet, despite these obstacles, entrepreneurs and corporations have adapted, innovated, and thrived. So as we mark this 25-year democratic milestone, we ask, what is the state of Nigeria's business climate today? How have democratic governance and policy reforms impacted the private sector? What lessons have we learned? And what opportunities lie ahead? Today, my guest is Samson Robert Okorie. He's the CEO of Flowvim Limited. He's an astute businessman, as I mentioned earlier on, and he has a wealth of experience behind him as a well-experienced businessman, a financial logistics expert, an insurance expert, a manufacturing expert, and he also has a lot of experience in the fast-moving consumer goods. So, welcome to Market Insights, Samson Robert Okorie.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to have me here.
Yes, I'm very happy you're on the program this morning. So, happy Democracy Day to you.
And we wish you the same as well.
Okay, so celebrating, or rather, we're marking 25 years of Nigeria under democratic rule from 1999 till today, and that's a lot. We've experienced a lot of challenges these few years. I mean, it's quite a lot for us. So now, what has this meant for the business community in Nigeria?
Okay, first I must have to congratulate every Nigerian that is outside there, more especially in the spirit of our celebration of today, where we're trying to, or where we're marking the 25 years of democratic rule here in Nigeria. Honestly, to be very frank with you, we are indeed very fortunate and lucky to have this kind of a privilege that we have here in Nigeria. If it were to be other countries, obviously we would have had intermittent interruptions in terms of change of one government to another. But for us here in Nigeria, the story has been smooth sail kind of journey, especially looking back predates 1999 when we were practicing or were embracing a military type of system of government, where it was adjudged that men who are not technocrats actually are the position or the aim of affairs directing the livelihood of people as well as business. But good luck to us. We found ourselves in 1999 to have civilian technocrats, individuals who had promised themselves to, and determined to rule the nation and see the lives and other business and services, come to better terms, more especially if we link it with or merge it with global standards. So it's a plus for Nigeria, and a whole lot has actually transpired from 1999 down to 2024, where we are. Of course, it is not a smooth sail. We've been having ups and downs. Back then, the early starters of this civilian administration actually did the very best that they could, ranging from, although find it actually gave rise to initial, or what we'll call intro activities into what we have today. But of course, there's still chances and outlook for us to actually be better than where we are today. But I must say that for any country to be better placed for any global references and the likes will be that there must have to be some certain factors put in place. One for Nigeria is that we've been working around political stability. That's to ensure that. Then economic reforms as well too. Of course, we've been in and out of good infrastructure development, access to finance, good governance, and innovations, technology. You name them. It has been a very good and fair journey for us. A whole lot in between 25 years that we can just talk about.
Okay, so now how has democratic governance impacted the overall business environment in Nigeria?
Okay, the impact of that can intricately be seen from the internal factors that we have leveraging from the different governmental economic reforms tending towards enhancing and equipping economic empowerment such that organizations, business, and services can actually take a leverage from. That can be seen from also to some certain government agencies that have enveloped that and acted that. Imagine from the financial sector where what we have right now in terms of a good governance, that has actually stepped up their different requirements necessary for businesses to have, like the likes of KYC. Ordinarily, before now, it wouldn't have been in existence, and businesses have been capitalizing a lot of internal factors and key features also to mitigate financial risk like cyber security. So obviously there were, would I say it was in existence then or maybe mildly seen, but as we move ahead, a lot is just within that corner that that is feeding from government impact in helping and seeing that the Nigerian government, the Nigerian polity or the climate is actually on the right track. So we could just say go on and on because there are lots of factors to actually look at if we're delving into different industries or sectors in the polity. I can also too as well, moving into or talk about infrastructure as well too. Before now as well too, we used to have very poorly constructed road networks that are never there before. Obviously, either due to high level of corruption or high level of bureaucratic influences. And today is a different story right now that we have all of those developed into good factors that we can leverage on right now. Myself and you now can, move from one end of a country successfully to another end of a country, doing business with ease.
Okay, well said. Well, you remember during President Bola Tinubu's speech this morning, he also talked about the business sector. So let's take a short clip from President Bola Tinubu's speech this morning when he was talking about the business sector. Let's just watch that for a few seconds.
I say to you here and now that as we celebrate the enshrinement of our political democracy, let us commit ourselves to the fulfillment of equally important counterpart, the realization of our economic democracy. I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built on the flawed foundations and over reliance on revenue from exploitation of oil. The reforms we have initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth. There is no doubt that the reform has occasioned hardship. I feel your pains. Yet the unnecessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for its endeavor and labor. As we continue to reform the economy, I shall always listen to the people and will never turn my back on you.
Okay, so we just heard from President Bola Tinubu as he talks about the reforms that have been made during his tenure. But now, still on our celebrating 25 years of democratic rule now. So what key reforms have driven growth and investment, particularly in, I would say, the business sector and also our services sector in Nigeria? I know these have been influenced by the private industry, but I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay, there are quite a number of them that within the last 25 years that have actually impacted on private businesses. One of them will be reforms from the Central Bank of Nigeria, where the mode of doing business is being softened in a way that business and services and business owners, including entrepreneurs, can actually leverage on access to capital. Before now, it used to be we have some intermediaries that are actually making access to these incentive very difficult for others to actually make do with, by scrapping or possibly bringing close gap, or forming a close gap in such a way that the distance between the original financing houses activities will not be that different from what you have with the intermediary players as well, to where you're aware of that Nigeria is largely dollar what's
It's
it
very
called
dollarized right now.
dollarized in that aspect. So
Yes.
obviously we need a large chunk of this currency to actually trade, do and encourage other injection also to into the country. But the good has not been also too on the other side that we are import-driven economy as well too. Such of those economic reforms from the central bank is also to leverage on the local content, what we can actually produce in here, that they can incentivize to encourage businesses, organizations, and services also to capitalize on. Now, imagine if a lot more in terms of agriculture is focused on or improved or speak to, it will make more sense, better than where we are right now, where we would have said, okay, in the last 12 months of this current administration, Nigeria would have, or the country would have gone further than where we are right now in terms of production. And I could also to remember one of the last presidential candidate who spoke consistently about having the country, turned into a producing economy. And until that is done, we will still be largely dependent on proceed from oil as it is right now. But I think the government of today is actually doing justice to it by at first re-galvanizing or possibly retweaking policies, statements, incentives, methods that will enhance businesses, have them turn around into becoming what myself and you and other businesses can actually key into, and it becomes better. Policy in the first place should be, or is the right instrument to be placed on ground before there can be any ride on it. I also want to believe as well too that the government of the day is also to doing everything possible to have this come alive, and maybe in the next year, as we're counting from this minute upward, lives and means of doing business alongside with private sector will get better off with it, or with what we have on ground.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but you heard during the president's speech that he says he feels our pain, that's the pain of the citizens of this country in terms of the reforms and also with economic growth. Now, that being said, you know, Nigeria right now is facing a very high inflation at over 33%. It's affecting everybody, but those who are not in business and those who are out of business. It's also due to this, the NLC went on strike last week, and there was the issue of minimum wage. All this has to do with the current standard of living in the country. In addition to that, electricity rates were also increased, and you know, everybody is complaining. I mean, these are real key issues that have been affecting a lot of businesses, both small and medium enterprises. Now, that being said, now, so how do you think all this, how have entrepreneurs and let me say basically small and medium business owners been able to cope with all these challenges? Let's just start from that angle, because I know you as an expert businessman, I'm sure you have a lot of experiences in this.
Okay, thank you very much. In line with what the president has actually reeled out this morning, honestly, in as much as I'm trying to balance from the government side and as well also too on the part of the citizenry as well, I must have to say the fact. Now, maybe also to the journey path where we are right now should ordinarily make us to go through where we are at the moment, because if we must live right tomorrow, then that means we should be ready to make some sacrifices, and which is what obviously the government of the day has been trying. Let's not also to forget that the last administration also too, according to them, even if they read good account of what they have done, but this particular one in getting into the office met a whole lot of things that were not really good to run with. So however, this current reforms that we're having, honestly speaking as well too, the reforms, retweaking of policies and economic injections by statements, at present it is a bit and a lot more biting, if I want to use that local parlance. I would have also to advise or recommend that it is a lot more easier for the managers up there to actually sit at their different position and look, or possibly look through some certain medium and feel all is well. Honestly, all is not well outside there, because almost everyone is feeling the bite so strong, in the essence that the smaller businesses are almost closing up, obviously because of the harsh economic reforms that we have presently, and the stronger ones, the stronger businesses also to are also to not having a very nice time as well. To you must have heard some stories some weeks backward that certain big brands are closing up operations and leaving the country, obviously as well too, as a result of some certain economic indices that they are not finding at ease with, vis-a-vis cost of daily production. If I want to mention a tax as well, so I will say maybe a little bit of taxation, but certain things that will make the day-to-day running of businesses and organization moves, still smoothly, and not presently witnessed at the moment. Now, it might also to be interesting to you. This morning, while coming into the studio, I took the leverage and exercise to actually go through the streets, and I passed by two good bigger markets here in Lagos. And honestly speaking, I could see the dexterity of people trying to hustle for today's living and how to sustain. Now, if only our managers can actually, cultivate or develop some certain methodologies to actually, um, research what the true feel of the economy is, as well as what businesses are actually going through. It will make a lot more sense where, I mean, than, or, just issuing out statements like this. I could also to remember relating that to a former vice president of this country as well, who says that the economic statements and reforms don't have human face. Of course, there's a large extent to, I mean, truth to that comment as well. So I would suggest if managers could have trustworthy, good professionals sent down on the local ground to do or conduct research and development, so that they can have first-hand information or data of how the economy is actually going through. An average business that obviously has about let's say 20 employees in their role, obviously is faced with different daily operational costs vis-a-vis the the provision of a power to work with the day, and there's also an overhead cost that comes with having different activities achieved in every day, is left to having come to the point where he or she will rethink to say, okay, we're actually spending so much because of XYZ cost of items that have gone so high. So how do we sustain at the end of the month? And meanwhile, also to those at the other end that are supposedly meant to consume our services and our products do not have the effrontery, or when I use the word, the ability to part with their money. Obviously, they have very shrink amounts of currency in their pockets, and yet the need is out. Well, what do you see? The impact on the other side, which is the business, is that you will suffer low patronage. So, where am I going in all this conversation is that find the economic reforms are actually good. Just like as the president also to have a promise that we need to be a lot more patient in this journey. Maybe obviously, maybe what we are not seeing from the screen of the TV and in their own manuscript as well is that maybe after this 1 year, we are going to see better days or better things or signs to come.
Looking at businesses in Nigeria so far, yes, we, like you mentioned, some businesses had to fold up due to all the economic pressure and the current high cost of living right now. But that being said, now, what opportunities exist for businesses in Nigeria, both small and medium enterprises?
Okay, thank you very much. Usually I like to tell people that the response to every question lies in the questioning itself. It is quite true that I don't want to use the word nascent democracy because 25 years is no longer small this or anymore. It's quite a journey, and for this journey, definitely there are bound to be challenges as well. So challenges ranging from policy uncertainty, access to finance. We have security issues as well too, infrastructural challenges or problem, then good governance factors, as well as corruption. These are challenges, and to draw a leverage from this would be that businesses need to look at what is, to make out certain things from these challenges. For example, right now, where you will, let's even choose infrastructure at the moment. Now, infrastructure, we all understand that year on year, you will have a government reel out intent of how they want to provide or enhance certain levels of infrastructure. Let's pick road network right now. Now, government dole out millions, billions of naira to put some certain road into good shape, and to some others as well, to have them neatly connected so that there can be ease of movement. Now, with what we have on ground right now, we can still make do with what we have vis-a-vis um, 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 the present condition, uh, the road networks that we have right now, either through transport, road transport, air transport, and just of recent also to some states are actually piloting rail transport or rail movement the way it is now. Looking at these options, we for businesses, more especially businesses that will, that has exposure in other than one state, can actually make do of what we have on ground, even if they are not directly involved or possibly have that outsourced. Then we can also to take advantage in this aspect that okay, we can use technology as well to achieve a whole lot, more especially for organizations that deals in services. Now, technology, like I will always say, which is an opportunity in this regard right now, that wherever technology is being interfaced, you will always have a positive, a positive response from there, because technology in itself is a catalyst. Now, services, imagine from my own end here that my business are based online. I can actually have my business, fully executed using internet or technology services or digital services over a line, whereas I'm not physically involved with my audience the way it is, but yet I can still have my services, or I can still have value delivered. Same also to will go for businesses that are into physical product or tangible product. You can make do with real. Just of recent also to you saw the current minister for FCT commissioning the rail what's it called network from Abuja to obviously to other parts of the country. Goods can be transported via that way as well too. I'm also too aware of a private organization here in Lagos who had also to leverage on technology as well to in e-commerce, where certain items that they have to deliver effortlessly, executed using modes of transport like air, as well as other medium as well too. I don't want to mention them so that it doesn't look like as if I'm promoting brands for free. So what I'm saying here in essence is looking at the different kinds of challenges that we have, we can actually neck deep into all of this and have them turn around. We've not even mentioned agriculture as well too, because agriculture, in as far as I can remember, from the days of the first administration of this 25 years journey, from 1999 till the end of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, agriculture thrived. I could still remember we have alternatives to flour. The flour, ordinarily the one you use in making baking bread and other snacks, and you use cassava flakes as well. Then we had different things coming out from that particular regime or administration, but all of those right now, nobody's paying attention. You remember moments ago we talked about having Nigeria become a producing economy. Now, if we presently are not pushing weight behind agriculture, now, I'm telling you, sooner or later, even if forecast has already mentioned that within a certain period of time, Nigeria is also going to experience some slight food shortages. There's a lot we can do, not necessarily also to waiting for government to actually take the lead. Individuals that has or businesses that has little space around them can actually start thinking about what we can actually produce using whatever it is the personal or a tiny resource within their ambit, and produce things, and before you know it, it start becoming things that we can start looking ahead to. Then you talk about access to finance as well too. Now, financing houses and institution also to need to be a lot more, flexible to individuals, businesses that requires financial support, by making it a lot more simpler and easy for them to access this. Now, within that first dispensation that I just mentioned right now, a moment ago, that administration, with the help of the economic reform, helped people. We saw a lot of entrepreneurs springing up. This is also to not to talk less to what we have presently, but this is also to coming from the individual participation and encouragement as well from the likes of Tony Elumelu, who is also to encouraging thousands of young Nigerian graduates and people who have business intellect and ideas to come on board. Same thing also to within that can be seen within the tech space as well, to where we are having different startup, but a lot more needs to be done from the financial end as well, to the institutes now, to see how they can lower, I'm not really saying lower standard, but there should be some level of simple formatting instruments that can help and aid upcoming businesses with good prospects of thriving. With this, I believe that we can be a greater nation. Heap on what we already have right now. After all, if we look at 100 years, 25 years is just a quarter. It's just a quarter. And if we're actually trying to benchmark that with the advanced nation like the Americas and the rest of them all, we're just starting. Now, let's even come straight to our neighbors here, our far neighbors, the South African.
Yeah.
You see how developed their organization, their country is. Now, I am so sure that what you have play in that is working for them are different and different and intentional reforms and support programs, as well as instruments, resources also too, that can help private sector participation as well too. Because that alone, if you want to, take a grade or an evaluation of government involvement in our daily life, that is a lot more smaller as compared to private sector initiatives that is all around. For example, obviously where we are right now, your institution is actually private,
It's a
private
private media
initiative,
organization.
driven. So now, if a lot more hands are extended, we could have better things around and better things even to play with.
Okay, so for example, fintech right now, back in 1999, and just yes, a few years into the early 2000s, there weren't too many fintechs, but you could see right now from the last 2, 3, 4 years, we have the growth of fintech. So
Definitely.
that's a plus. Now, would you say that the growth of the financial sector, would you agree with this? The growth of the financial sector has impacted on businesses in Nigeria right now?
Okay, and to some extent, not like I say that the financial sector or institutes are not really doing the very best they can, and also to doling out support services to interested parties that wants to scale their businesses. They are, except the fact that whatever you must present to the financial institute or financial houses must have to be ideas, concepts that can sustain and generate revenue. Okay, I was with a few days back with an organization that is into financial services. Now they have developed or created a level of initiative to see how they can support startup. I also too belong to an organization also too, who also too was looking out for how we can generate a fund as well. We had to just go to them as well to see if we can catch up with what they have. And I'm also too aware that such organization wouldn't have had such support if the financial houses of financial institutions are not rendering out such support for them to actually take hold on. To be very frank with you as well too, we have financial houses here that support business initiatives like that. I just mentioned one, the likes of Tony Elumelu, the UBA. We're also too aware of another one. I don't want to mention further than what I've just mentioned, helping small, medium scale enterprises as well too. A lot. I'm sure they have good interest, good propositions for upcoming businesses, but the key thing is how sustainable is your concept going to raise better and further capital that can help keep your business stay afloat. Now, when it is not solid enough, obviously you tend not to get support from the financial houses. But as it is, we have had increase in such initiative from the financial institute or financial houses trying to help organization. And really, in particular, the sector that is mostly interested, of high interest to financial houses, range between tech and agriculture.
Okay, that's very true. Okay, now, yes, like you talked about it from the beginning, government policies will always influence how businesses run in Nigeria. Now, looking at everything so far, would you say that government needs to better support businesses in Nigeria, particularly in the private sector, to promote more economic growth?
Definitely. The role of government in all of this interplay is to create enabling environments that can better help businesses, small businesses, private business, and private sectors to better thrive on. Policies that will encourage free access to finance without so much bottlenecks. Then also to some other non-financial support services, support reforms, economic reforms from government as well. So you could see what government is trying to do within the space of petroleum industry, where there had been so much about deregulation of that particular aspect. Same also to goes with telecommunication as well. So myself and you are also to beneficiary of what privatization and deregulation has also to achieve from that aspect. So these are just one out of so many instrument governments can actually look inward to, without necessarily getting itself involved in doing business, because you and I know very well that government is not good in doing business. Rather, they should encourage private sector participation so that we can drive the business. Or possibly, if you do not want an outright private sector participation, there could just be some level of relationship or partnership. It could be a public private partnership initiative that could just drive and help businesses.
Okay, so before we round up the program now, looking at everything that has happened in the business sector in Nigeria, both with our fintech, with our financial industries, with small and medium enterprises now. So, like you have mentioned, from everything you have said, we have learnt a lot of lessons from this, but still going further now to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. So what would you recommend for businesses out there to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past few years going forward into the next 25 years in the country?
Okay, so this advice will go to private sector, private businesses, and private services as well too. I am aware also too that some organizations have monthly performance review, where they tend to look at where they were before, where they are, and what they intend to do the following day after today. Looking back in context of today's topic here is there's a need for us to look at how we do business and how we interface with each other, either in partnership, business sourcing, keying into diverse kinds of opportunity. Because as it is right now, the opportunities are gradually becoming a little bit, shrinking the more because of stringent reforms that is ongoing right now. Is to look inward and see what can we take out from what is presently on. So the advice will be, one of the key will be that let's look at what government has placed on ground right now to see what we can make do out of it. Now, it is quite true that government is trying to raise the bar so that we can have a healthy and good economic environment. So, are there some certain things that the polity actually lack that we can actually capitalize on? One of those is presently technology as we speak. Another is also to logistics as well, logistics services. Another is also to transportation. So, but let's even look at technology. Let's look at also to the impact of what technology has also to brought upon us, digital services or digital transformation. So instead of having ourselves exposed to some certain costs that will run us down, are there some certain things that we can actually capitalize on that will reduce cost? In fact, as it is right now, I think the subject of today says that we should be patient. A lot more is going to be done. It means that wherever you can summon the shock absorber from, more is still going to come. Is in your spending. Can you look at your spending and take out some certain things that are not really urgent but are important? Some certain things that are not important, some certain things that are not important, and prioritize others as they are important and they are urgent, and place side by side economic value of what return this is going to generate as well. You will be not, it's no longer a news anymore that here in this city, Lagos, you have organization streamlining their business operation physically to hybrid. What does that mean? To certain end of the business in look will be that they're trying to work on the cost of powering on business for every day. Now, if you have that streamline into what's it called, a fewer days of operation, it makes sense. That does also to not mean that they will need to close business. Business can still go on from behind, but there are some others as well too that cannot afford to stay off business every day rather than to just come. But internally as well, to look at what works or what should work for you and play the most out of it.
Thank you very much, Samson Robert Okorie, for joining me this morning on Market Insights on this great day on June 12th as we mark 25 years of democratic rule in Nigeria. It's been great having you on the program. As you have discussed with me from 1999 to date, how the Nigerian business sector has fared, the challenges we are still experiencing in our country, and how it's affecting businesses, and also proffering solutions to these challenges. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, and we look forward to having you again. So many thanks for watching Market Insights this morning. It's been great so far, and we look forward to another fantastic episode as we discuss more issues affecting our economy with another guest. Many thanks for watching the program this morning. I'm your host, Lovina Emah.